welcome to my video on draw techniques and releases. I have categorized them in 4 major and some sub-categories. The major categories is a Nock release, the Mediterranean release, the thumb release, and the inverted hand draw. The Nock release also has a subcategory, Scythian release. The Mediterranean has several subcategories. We have the Hungarian draw, the Slavic release, Assyrian release, one of the Assyrian releases, free under and long Sassanid draw. The thumb release has 2 subcategories, Persian release and Assyrian release, another Assyrian release. I don't know which one is the correct Assyrian release, but these are my findings. I'm sure lots of the things I'm going to say is wrong. Please correct me and we'll all learn. The inverted hand draw is no extra categories. Okay, let's start with the Nock release. That is when I just pinch the Nock on the arrow. I don't draw in the string, just the arrow, and release. I'll show you again. Pinch the arrow, this is usually one of the first releases you learned as a small kid playing cowboy and Indians or anything. Just pinch the Nock and release. Just like that. I'll be back. I have to retrieve the arrows. Oh, my script! The variant on a Nock release is a Scythian release. That's a Nock release where the middle and ring finger help pull the string. I'll show you. The middle and ring pull the string, and I pinch the arrow with my thumb and forefinger, just like that. Middle and ring, pull the string, and I pinch the Nock. And Few more tries. I'll try on the other side. I think it will be easier on for me of shooting one arrow like that. I say it's easier arrow on the right side. Oh yes, definitely. Okay, I have retrieved the arrows. Now we go into the main category, Mediterranean release. And this is also possible with the arrow on the right or on the left. It is 2 fingers below and 1 finger above. In my opinion, this is one of the most common draws practiced at medieval fairs and almost everywhere. 2 fingers below, the index finger above the arrow. And it's possible to have on the arrow on the right side. If you need, just flip up the thumb and smack. Okay, no problem. Two below, 1 above. And that's the Mediterranean release. Arrows back in the quiver. The next one, the Hungarian draw. It's like the Mediterranean release, but just the index and the middle finger. Skip the ring finger. One above, 1 below. Since this is rather light bow, only 21 pounds, I usually do this draw, and it's called the Hungarian draw. 1 above, 1 below. And this is also very much possible with the arrow on the left or on the right. That's the Hungarian draw. Arrows back. The next one is Slavic release, and this one is referred with the arrow on the right side. It's almost like a Mediterranean draw. You have 2 fingers under and 1 finger on the arrow. So it's like this, according to my findings. Two under, 1 holding the arrow, and that I'm holding the arrow is also pushing the arrow towards the bow. And since I don't have to put the arrow on the other side, make adjustment, move the hand, it's a lot faster than the Mediterranean. When I just smack, put it there, I lose a few moments, and therefore it's faster. The next one is one of the Assyrian releases that I have found. I'm pretty sure it's just one of them that's the Assyrian release, but I can't tell which one and what the other is called. Anyway, this one is just like the Slavic release, with a small adjustment. I have the Slavic release, 2 fingers holding the string, 1 is holding the arrow, and I use the thumb to lock the middle finger, just like this. And that makes it possible to hold the draw easier. Slavic release, and then lock the middle finger with the thumb. Like this, and release. Lock the middle finger with the thumb. The next release is also a very common release, primarily among competition shooters and such, and that is free under. Then there is a risk with these kind of arrows, and since it's not a completely proper string, so it's almost no friction. But free under is 3 fingers under, and I'm having problem doing this with my wooden arrows. So I have three plastic arrows that I think will be good enough on this string. 3 fingers under, and that gives it my aiming eye. Aiming is closer to the eye with 3 fingers under. Although I'm not used to this so 3 fingers under and release. And after that we have long Sassanid draw, and that is more or less a subcategory to 3 fingers to 3 under. It is 3 under, but since the bow is lighter, or I'm stronger or something, it's just 2 under. So long Sassanid draw, 2 fingers under, and but for both this you need to have a nock that's locking into the string. For the next one, it's a thumb release. I'm not very used to thumb release, so my shootings will be meh. Although, and I also need a thumb protection. So okay. Now the thumb release, I hold the string with my thumb and lock it with the index finger. This is primarily for horseback shooting, because I lock the arrow and everything. I doesn't have to hold the bow. I'm not very good at it, therefore bear with me. But I lock the thumb with the index finger, and when I release the index finger, I shoot. So I hold everything with the index finger, more or less. Oh, my arrow. I hope I didn't Robin Hood it too much. That's a nice shot. Locking the thumb with the index finger. Arrow on the right side. Draw and release. Okay, I'm back. The next variant, subcategory, is Persian release. That's a thumb release. Let's start making a thumb release, and I use two fingers, both the index finger and the long finger, to lock the thumb. On each side of the string. And I have actually never tried this release before. I have tried to hold it like this. I have never released an arrow, so bear with me. Mistakes may be happening, but I'll do my best. Oh, that went better than expected. Let's see if it was a fluke or so. Index and long finger are locking the thumb, one on each side of the string. Yeah, seems to be working. It's a bit complicated to set up, but with some practice it may work. thumb release, lock with thumb and lock with index finger and long finger, one on each side of the string. And I'm losing my script again. Okay, so the previous was Persian release. Let's go to the next. It's the second version of Assyrian release that I have found. As I said, I think that only one of them is actually called the Assyrian release, but those are the names I have found. And the Assyrian release, the second version, is thumb release, but the thumb is held with index and middle finger on the right side of the string. So it's almost like the Persian release, but with holding the thumb on the same side. So I put my thumb, index and long finger, index and middle finger, holding the thumb, pull back and release. Seems to be working. And as always, whatever works for you. That if something works for you, that's a good draw and release. If you're riding a bow, riding and shooting, you don't have to do this and that just because that's what, unless you're doing a reenactment. Okay, so thumb release, locking with index and middle finger, and I'm not clamping the arrow, I'm putting a little force to it against the bow just to help holding it, just like that. Riding along, ding 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 ding, and there's the enemy. The last one is a technique I'm having a big problem illustrating, because that's the inverted hand release, and I haven't seen any crystal clear pictures of how to hold the arrow. And I also should use a back quiver. So I pull the string from here, pull the arrow from here, and since I don't have a back quiver, I will make it slow, one shot at a time, pretend I have a back quiver. And that's a release where I put the on here and hold my hand upside down. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a pinch release or a Mediterranean or free over. I'm not sure. But let's try some. So I pull the arrow from the back quiver and scheiße. Here, pull it, string it, pull back and release. Pull it, string it, upside down and release. And you can hear I'm missing the target some, but I have never tried this. The Rings of Power did mostly wrong, but this one they actually did correct. The black elf, he used a inverted hand draw, and that's a valid technique. So actually, credit where credit is due, they did something correct. Pull, knock it. I think I want to pinch the arrow a little between the index finger and the thumb, each on each side of the string. Pull with a free over and release. But that's a way more complicated technique than I'm used to. But if you have a back quiver, it's fast. There are videos on the internet, and these are the techniques and releases that I have found. I hope you comment and subscribe, like, share, and please tell me what I did right and what I did wrong, so we all learn from this. Thank you. It's a sad day. One of my bows just snapped. It's been a true friend. May it rest in peace.